day, everyone. Happy Moon Day Monday to those in the Western Hemisphere. And the Eastern Hemisphere, it still should be, in most places, Monday and Moon Day as well. So how you doing, Natural Healing Centers? Jolie, thanks for joining. Mo, thanks for joining. Zoe, thanks for joining. Good morning, great morning. Nicole Mohammed, thanks for joining. And thanks for liking many of my posts. Etc. X, thanks for joining. Tanya, yay, she's back. The singing the Tibetan bowl expert aficionado. So Dushia Moore, blessings. Kiki, Dynamite, long time. Dijon, thanks for joining from Atlanta. All right, so yesterday, well, not even yesterday, so practically for a week now, we've been taking the Qi Gong practice outside of just doing postures and talking about different philosophies. Philosophies wrapped around meditation practices, right? And those meditation practices being influenced by how we envision ourselves currently and how to transmutate from those things that we want to become better in or better at in the future. So being very objective. We also talked about subjectivity, we talked about energy, we talked about transitioning, we talked about so many different things. So that led into doing a live kind of sound shower. A lot of people call them sound baths. I like to call it sound shower because sometimes I tend to use instruments that aren't commonly used in a sound bath, and when I say, okay, I'm doing a sound bath, and if I don't show up with the gong and singing bowls, then people are looking at me like, what is this? So, in light of that, I was performing with the monks from Tibet, 2 days ago? What's today, Monday? Yeah, on Saturday. And I bought some more bowls from them. I bought 2 extra bowls. I really like the way they sound. To add to my addition. And I talked about fair trade and free trade and things like that. And also talked about this instrument as well. But outside of that, we're going to get into just a morning meditative practice. So for those who are new, what we're going to start off with, some breath work. So go grab you some tissue, because your nose is going to start running, because we're going to do a cleansing breath before we start. And then we're going to do a meditation that deals with being very objective with ourselves, honest objectivity, and we talked about that. So if you are wanting to transform yourself for the next 7 days into being and I gave examples of being a more patient person, then you have to see yourself as this impatient person, okay? Meaning that you have to dig deep into how that looks inside of you. How does it feel when you're impatient? What are your thoughts? What is your breath rate? You know, what are you saying when you're impatient? So you have to be very, and some people say constructive criticism. I like to say honest objectivity. So we tend to get into these healing self-practices and these memes on the internet with this positive motivation, and we kind of bypass the nooks and crannies of the transmutation or transformation process. And we talk about that when we say doing shadow work. But also, this is deeper than doing shadow work. So shadow work is looking at, okay, there's darkness, and part of darkness is light, right? So now, what is that darkness, and are we celebrating it, and how do we transmutate it from light? It's not just the acknowledgement of it. It has to take some type of transmutation process. And that transmutation process happens via the manifestation of energy transmutation through envisioning and seeding meaning implementing and reprogramming the old process into a new process. But that can only truly happen because a lot of people say, I'm going to stop smoking this year, I'm doing all these things, and it don't happen, right? Because we think of will as having power. And just because we're saying things, we give power to them, or we keep repeating them, we give power to them. It's a bigger concept than that, all right? And this is the concept that I'm getting to, being very objective with ourselves. Not in a way where, I hate when I do this, but I don't like when I do this. But what is it that causes this that I don't like? And how does it feel? How does it look? Because we talked about yesterday the hawk, right? And symbolism of why native cultures or Eastern ancient civilizations use animals to depict certain types of qualities of Netaru or Orisha or archangels or deities, right? And those deities are just different energy manifestations inside of ourselves. So the hawk, Haru, it was Sunday, it deals with the sun, and I talked about the hawk being able to fly so high in the sky and stay focused on one focal point deep down in the water. And when it sees the right time to take action, it goes down, whoosh, all right? And that honest objectivity is going to do that for us. When we are able to see, or feel when things are going wrong. So if we want to manifest being better patients, then we have to be able to see like that hawk when we start to become impatient. When we start to think impatiently, when we start to act impatiently, when we start to feel a certain way, when certain things make us impatient. You feel me? That's a whole different concept. It's like mindful meditation, but it's even deeper than that. We're being mindful of our thoughts, but we're actually being the observer. So the honest objectivity allows you to become the observer. You're always making observations and doing mental checks, you're doing physical checks, you're doing spiritual checks, you're doing verbal checks. It's a whole thing of you're transmutating your self-practice into becoming this walking meditation now. Meditation is not something that we're just sitting in chairs or on lotus poles in studios and on mats. This meditation practice, when you're that hawk, and that observer is all the time. But you have to be honest and objective with yourself. All right? That is the first thing. So for those who are new, because I just sped through what I was trying to get through, we are seeing ourselves as we truly are. Okay? There's no, personifying it or making it beautiful to look. When I'm angry, cursing people out, I'm expressing myself, and my throat chakra needs this expression, so I'm giving it. No. That's this bypassing process. Okay. Now, are our intentions to become better people to hurt people? Just because we have self-expression or freedom of expression? So we have to think about that when we say intentions. So what are our intentions? So if your intentions is to do whatever, to stop being angry, to be a better parent, what does that look like? What does it look like to be, in your eyes, a bad parent? And we talked about subjectivity, okay? There is no right or wrong. There is no good or bad. Everything's subjective to every individual. So this is your work you have to do, your self-objectivity and your honesty, and you are responsible for that. No one else can tell you, okay, this is how a good parent looks, because you're not going to resonate with it totally. You're going to just take what you need, and you're going to say, well, this doesn't work in my situation. My children are like this, your children are like that, right? So let's be very, detailed in the process. Let's make these visions we're having and these seedings we're planting into our minds very applicable to our lives and ourselves via this honest objectivity. It's about you, Not what everybody else is saying, what everybody else is thinking, what they're telling you supposed to be like. But in light of that, you have to see also what you would like to be, what you would like to become, what you would like to manifest, right? And you have to envision both of those, the now and the future present. And I call it the future present because there's really no past and present. Past and future, there's just present, right? So you want to see yourself as the past, you, meaning present right now, because 1 second from now, that makes it the past, right? And then what the future you is going to look like, all right? The transmutation process. So let's get in our most comfortable meditation pose. So if you're in your bed, I want you to either sit up, get in your lotus pose, put those legs crossed, straighten the back, place your hands on the thighs. Today I'm going to use my throne chair because I'm going to be turning around and I have my gong behind me. I'm going to add the gong to the mix today, and some bowls, and my string instrument. So I need to be able to turn around, and that lotus pose, balancing in this keyboard chair is quite intense. I like it, but it won't be able to work today. All right, so for those who are unable to do a lotus pose comfortably, I want you to sit on the side of the bed with your feet flat on the ground, with your knees spread, hips apart. For those in the chair, I want you to go sit in the chair. I would like for you to kind of sit on the edge of the chair, back straight, shoulders relaxed, palms are just face down, or you can face it upward to receive. On the thighs. Those on the yoga mat or on the floor, lotus pose, half lotus, they call it easy pose, all right? This is not about looking at me. In fact, I'm going to turn off these lights. This is about closing your eyes, feeling the music, getting into your breath. We're going to do breath work first, and then allowing those seedings, the envisioning what you are now, the things you do not resonate with, internally, not externally. This is not about other people. It has nothing. All experiences are perceptual. This is about you, okay? So if something's making you angry because you don't like your job, that's you. The job can be the job. You are the actor. And we talked about that later on. I'm not going to get into that. So how do you want to show up at this job? Okay, do you want to show up as this angry, bitter person, or you want to show up as this happy, go-lucky person that's there to just seize the day and just make this money, and you are not attached to the people or the job or their mission. You just attached to your mission, in which is to get in there, make people feel comfortable, make your money, go back, feed your family, feed yourself, use that money to help society, okay? That is where I'm talking about transmutation. The job has nothing to do with you, all right? Let's do this. So everyone blow their noses right now. I'm going to take 30 seconds. Go get some tissue, blow your noses. I'm going to blow mine as well. All right, so let's start off with our breathwork practice. So backs are straight. Let's breathe in slowly, bringing the shoulders up towards the earlobes, shoulders back. Open up that chest. Release out through the mouth. Again, breathe in. Tighten, meaning pull those shoulders up until you feel a tightened sensation, pull them back, feel a stretching sensation, opening up that chest, heart center, and breathe out. Now on the out breath, allow the shoulders to be pulled straight back, not hunched down like that. So you should feel the pull come down and an energy rush from up here on down throughout the body. So let's do that 3 more times. Breathe in, back, all right, let's breathe in. Face the palms towards the chest. Allow the wrists to relax. Point the thumbs up towards the sky. Allow the elbows to come inward, but not totally face downward. Angle them out. Let's breathe in. In breath, allow the stomach to push out, pushing the hands out with that inhalation. Exhalation, bring the stomach slowly in and allow the hands to come back towards the chest. Following that breath, let's breathe in. Focus the Yi, the mind, on the Qi, the energy going in through the nose and down to the chest area. And downward from the chest to the stomach, and it's going to inflate the stomach. Breathe in, hands towards the sides. Just look up. Receive that energy as you slowly breathe out. Bringing the palms together. In prayer posture, push the thumbs back towards the sternum of the chest. Sit erect. Bring the head straight forward. Tilt the chin down just a little bit and back. Let's breathe in. Bringing the right hand up. Placing the pointer finger on the right nostril. And what we're going to do, we're going to breathe in through the left nostril 4 times. Filling up that lower abdomen, the lower dantian, and then we're going to close the left nostril with the thumb, breathing out through the right nostril 4 times. Again. Breathe out the mouth, bringing that right palm down into prayer posture. Bring your left palm up. Let's take the left pointer finger, close off the left nostril. We're going to breathe in through the right nostril 4 times. And then we're going to close that off with the thumb and breathe out through the left nostril 4 times. Allow the breath to come back to its natural breathing state. So with this cleansing breath, it usually causes whatever's clogged up in the nose to come out. So for those who have had a release of mucus, let's go below our noses again before we start our next practice. I'm going to do the same. Give me 1 second. All right, so this is where our very intimate, personal, inner experience happens via this meditation. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut down the lights. I want you to sit in your meditative pose, close your eyes, get inside of your body. This is something I'm giving you to take out through the rest of your day and the week. We're not going to work on moves, we're just going to work on silencing the mind, implanting that seating in the mind. So we're not just sitting, allowing thoughts to come in. Our thoughts are going to be on the breath, breathing in, pushing that lower abdomen out, slowly filling it up with a 4 count, and then on the out breath, we're slowly pulling that abdomen back on the 4 count. And then as we get into that breath, we're going to take the next step and implement that envisioning ourselves, in the light, the true light of where we are right now. If you want to transcend anger, you want to transcend fear, you have to go ahead and envision that, what that looks like, what makes you fearful, how does it feel, what are your thoughts, what are your responses to it. And then we're going to transmutate that into what does a brave person look like, right? Facing your fears, what would that look like? What would it feel like? What will your thoughts be? Okay? All right, so I'm going to cut down these lights and let's get started. Hey, how's it going? Aya, thanks for joining. Michael, thanks for joining. Elijah, Daruti, thanks for joining from India. Shenzhen, thanks for joining. Locks Forever, thanks for joining. Lona, thanks for joining. In Light, thanks for joining, bro. Okara, thanks for joining. All right, let's get started. Enough shout outs. presence in light of how you're feeling. From your head all the way down to your toes. What are you thinking? How are you breathing? Hopefully you were able to set that intention in light of transmutation from the old you into the new you, envisioning that manifestation inside of the mind, the spirit, and moving that energy throughout the body via the breath and the focus of the Yi, the mind, to transform that energy into the next new you. Sit in that sacred space for a minute or two before you begin your day. Align your heart space. Your mental space. Your physical space, the ethereal space, the aura around you, the bio-electromagnetic field. To become one with those thoughts, with that inner consciousness. That inner vision that you are having that involves that transmutation, that transformation from the old you to the new you. All right, there we have it. That ends today's morning Qi Gong Flow. We've been adding a little bit more of, some sound, shower, bath, audio pharmacology, meditative practices. And this is kind of what I do, and the reason why I use audio pharmacology music with the Qi Gong and certain frequencies to enhance the brain entrainment. Because all of that matters when we are preparing ourselves to be present in these roles we have to play every day. So before we go out and play our part or play our roles, we have to practice what that looks like. We have to practice, how to be this stunt person. For example, before we go out and jump off buildings, we have to jump off, boxes first, jump off tables, and then we build ourselves up until we are able to jump off skyscrapers. So that's what we're doing with this practice. But we're being very objective with ourselves, digging down deep inside, of how we are looking, how we are thinking, how we are breathing, how we are molding, how we are acting, how we are reacting. What I like to always say is, being active is great, but being proactive is one of the greatest gifts we can have. And that proactivity is what our intuition stems from, what our inner consciousness, that's what comes through our dreams. A lot of things we're receiving are here as tools to help us throughout life before we go through that experience, right? And even this training we're doing, when we're learning something and training on how to become a particular person or to train to become a firefighter, for example, everything you're training for is a proactive process. So if this happens, this is what you would do. If this happens, this is what you would do. So what we're doing is we're becoming more proactive versus reactive. Okay? So the other side of things are very reactive. So they play with people's emotions with all of this media exposure. So people begin to react, right? When you are in that situation and if you are proactively doing the work, you won't have this impatience as much. You won't have this anger. You won't have this fear. Because like that firefighter, they've gone in 2,000 buildings that were burning. So this next building that's burning, that's the real deal, is just another building burning, right? So that is what life is teaching us, how to become proactive inside of our minds once we begin to elevate our consciousness to use our prefrontal lobe and prefrontal cortex, right? Because initially we are functioning from our lower brain capacity. I said capacibilities. Wow, that's amazing. So the lower brain, right? So we're functioning from the reptilian and the mammalian brain, which is a fight and flight. It makes decisions very fast and quick, and it might not be the best decisions. And that's what happens when we begin to emote, when the breath rate begins to become very erratic, when our health is suffering. We begin to leave the prefrontal cortex and the prefrontal lobe, which is what makes the pineal gland does its thing, the third eye, that consciousness. And we function from the lower part of the brain. So now we're just reacting. If this happens, I'll just do this. If this happens, I'll do this. We don't even sit back and think about it. So in this practice, let's become proactivists. And that's a word that I always use. A lot of people like to say social activists and things and characterize me as that. I don't consider myself that. I consider myself just a proactivist. So preparing myself for what comes, and if I haven't prepared for what comes, that becomes the lesson to prepare myself for when it comes again. And that's how we have to look at life. All right? So I don't want to hold you all for a long time. Thanks for joining me. And I'm loving the way these Qi Gong flows are transitioning into just different types of elements. Yes, proactivists. That's the word I use all the time. Let's become proactivists, not activists, because that's react. Every activist has reacted to some type of issue. We already know what the issues are in the world. The same thing keeps happening. There's nothing new. It's just new technology doing the same thing. So let's become proactivists. Let's prepare ourselves, our mental states, our physical states, our nervous systems, our organs, our minds, our breath for what's to come. We already know we already know there's hatred. We already know there's racism. We already know there's injustice. Okay? So to react to that, the same way we've been doing, it hasn't solved anything because we haven't evolved into the prefrontal cortex to become proactive. So when these things happen, we can see it before it happens. You know, sometimes many things are just decisions, and being able to make those decisions correct. There's nothing new under the sun. To being able to make those better decisions is what I was saying earlier with that Haru or that hawk. To sit back and become that observer, and you can see everything that's inside of your mind. You can see the environment. You can see the world. You can see people. You can see the energy. You can feel the energy proactively before it even starts. Before you even walk into a situation, you can see it. So you don't have to go down and dive in that water for that fish like the hawk. You're like, that one is kind of has some radioactivity from the nuclear. No, let me stop. But I don't want that one. I want this one over here, you know. So let's be those hawks today, you know, very, observational from a higher level of thinking, of consciousness, from that prefrontal lobe, that prefrontal cortex, that third eye. Okay? Seeing here, not with these two eyes, seeing inside of that pineal gland, which is powered by that prefrontal cortex and prefrontal lobe. All right, love you all. See you tomorrow, same time, same space and place. Today is Moon Day, so it's a beautiful day for healing. All right, moon energy. And when I say Moon Day, and a lot of people follow moon cycles, I follow that, but I get more intricate into planetary hours and planetary days. So each day is named after what they call a planet, and they consider a planet and the sun as also as a planet because it's anything celestial that's in the solar system. So today, on Mondays, which comes from Moon Day, the moon is the first planet to come into the sunrise. So meaning that the first planet to come in as the sun is entering it's above the horizon or whatever, right? The moon is that first thing for today. So it governs, it starts the day off. And that's why they call it's the Moon Day, because it starts that day off. So in the Moon Day, it's celebrated, all these Oshun energies, these water, feminine power, powerful feminine energies, right? That deals with healing. Today is the day for that, all right? So it's not like the first day of the week, I hate being at work, I'm not feeling it, I can't get out of bed, oh God, it's Monday again. No, this is your healing day, you know what I'm saying? So if you have to come home tonight after work, you get your healing practice on, all right? And you begin to relax, you begin to chill. It's like the calendar system, and I'm not gonna be too long. The calendar system, I'm always saying that, right? I'm always long, so sorry. But time and the calendar system is all based upon planets and energy. So we are out of time. That's why the whole planet and all these different things are happening, because we've lost the concept of what we call as time, meaning the study and the documentation and tracking of energy cycles. And that's all it is. So ancient societies used these tracking systems to be proactive. We're going back to that, into harnessing the different energy qualities so it helped them throughout life. So imagine if they never took the time to study the cosmogony, meaning the cosmos, right, and the alignments. And that created the astrology and the astronomy and the horoscopes, all those things. If they didn't take time to do that, the farming season wouldn't exist. We wouldn't be able to eat, because they wouldn't know what time of year to plant food. They wouldn't know what time of year to harvest food, okay? So all of these things are simple planetary things. It's not that this planets and these things are so out of our body and we can't, this is a thing left to NASA and it looks cool in pictures, right? And I want a calendar with Jupiter and in this new black hole experience that they just took pictures of and all of this. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with reoccurring energetic alignments and aligning ourselves with those so we can proactively survive. That's the most simple thing about the clock and the calendar. And if we're not doing that, if we just say Monday 9 to 5, Tuesday 9 to 5, Wednesday 9 to 5, it's October 29th, it's October 31st, that has no meaning to it, right? So what I'm talking about is giving every moment in life these energetic cycles and auspiciousness. Meaning, what does that mean? What is Tuesday? What is this time right now? What time, what hour, what planetary hour am I in? What energy is governing this hour right now? So I can function in this hour in alignment of that energy. So that's what I'm talking about. Yes. Elijah knows, he hangs around me a lot. It's my little bro. He knows I'm really into planetary hours. So go ahead and study these planetary hours. And today, if possible, do the same moon meditation in one of the moon hours. You get 4 hours in a day for each planet. Meaning, if it's moon day, there's 4 times this moon becomes very dominant energetically. And if you want to do other meditations, for instance, if you want to do a Venus meditation, on a moon day, there's Venus hours. But a Venus meditation on a Venus day is going to be more powerful than a Venus meditation on a moon day. All right? And the Venus day would be Friday. All right? So powerful feminine energies, Monday, and they end the week on Friday. And that moon energy, that Friday, like, hey, I just got paid. Friday, that's that Venus energy. It's very social and party, right? But we start off the moon day with this energy like, well, I don't want to go to work. I'm not feeling this. This week's about to be long. I don't like it. No. That's this offset energy. That's that motherly, nurturing energy, that healing energy. We got to start it off just like it's not just about Venus. We have to make it to Venus. This beginning of the week is our healing. We coming in with this healing energy, with this nurturing energy for ourselves and everyone around us. And then we go into Tuesday. Tuesday is a warrior energy, a masculine energy, a Herakahuti energy. So we're cutting all these negative thoughts. We're getting stuff done, and we're getting it done right now. It's no I don't want to say PUSS footing, but no taking time to do this. Let's get it done, okay? Let's cut that. Then Wednesday is, Mercury energy. So it's about communication, right? So it's about business. It's about those things. So you handle those affairs on that day. And then Thursday is a Jupiter energy. It's about abundance, doing things big, you know what I'm saying? Harnessing this energy. So you do your abundant work on that day. And I'm giving you examples of how this works. And then Venus, and then we get into Saturn day. Saturn day is another feminine energy, but it deals with, if people understand Kali, so it deals with not only your destiny, but it deals with death, meaning getting rid of things to transmutate ourselves. So when I'm talking about transmutation and transformation, that's definitely a Saturday thing. It can be a Tuesday thing because you're about to cut some stuff out, and you're about to cut it with a sword. Cut. But anyway, I have 1 minute left. This live's about to end. I'll leave you all with that. Hope you enjoyed today. See you tomorrow, same time, same space and place. Get into your moon hours. Make every day, make every second, make every moment, make every experience auspicious. You're not living just to survive. You're living to thrive. And how you thrive is to become proactive. Put in your proactive work. Change your mind, change your actions, change your reactions. All right, proactivists? See you tomorrow. Peace and blessings. Bless up.